Ba 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 ba. So sorry it took so long. It's mostly my fault. Ba ba
Yes, it
ba ba
is.
ba 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 ba. But we're back now. We're back, and I promise you, I will stab Matt if we don't do it every week. Never, Captain.
Yeah,
Never.
okay.
Agonizer.
Your agonizer, please.
maybe
Ah!
maybe we should make that our running theme. You just say, "We're back, baby." Go ahead, say it. Say
We're
it.
back, baby.
Welcome again back to Yelling at Gaseous Anomalies. This is a very special episode where tonight we talk about our bottom 5 and top 5 episodes of season 2 of the original series. I again am your host, Captain Matt Ross, accompanied by XO Michael Pontone. How we doing, Mike? You enjoying season 2, or did you
God,
rather?
I'm looking at my freaking list here, right? We're doing our top 5, bottom 5 tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And I am like, if you put a gun to my head and was like, okay, Mr. Pontone, what was a private little war about? Or no, what was the immunity and syndrome about? I'm like, what? Oh, God. I don't know.
Space Amoeba.
Something. Okay, I was going to say something in space. But, like, past that, Matt, I think that this is the highlights and the lowlights of probably the entire original series, right? Like, things are really stuck in my brain and are iconic. And other things, I'm like, what slop AI did they just churn out and make these awful, awful episodes?
Well, there was no AI at the time. These were writers. A lot of the bad episodes are Gene Roddenberry's fault. Let's just put it that way, especially towards the end of season 2, like I said. But first, this is a very special month for both of us. We each celebrated another rotation around the sun.
Yep,
So
one day
happy
apart.
birthday, Mike.
Can you believe? Captain is 23rd
Yes.
and I am 24th. Isn't that strange?
Yes, it's the days. How old are you, Mike? How old did you turn?
I'm 40 years fun. 40.
There you go. And I'm going to say it because you hate it. My dad said I'm double nickels, and I know you hate that. 55. Yeah, there you go. Well, I always wanted to say that. But that's neither here nor there. And before we get to season 3, let's just talk about our bottom 5 first. Mike wanted to go bottom 5 first, so I'm going to defer to you, Mike.
And by the way, ironically, Captain is 55 and I'm 40, and I look 55 and he looks 40. So there we
Well,
are.
I actually look like I'm 26. Screw that.
Okay. I'm trying. See, ladies and gentlemen, I tried to give him a nice compliment, and he just doubled down.
Well, I do. Yeah, well, you know, it's because I got double nickels. But let's.
Okay, I'm going to call
Thanks,
it.
Mike.
Good night. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Goodbye.
Yeah, we're back, baby. All right, let's go take a look at our, starting with number 5. What is your fifth least worst episode of season 2, and why? What did you pick?
Okay. I went back over these. The lowest thing that I ranked this season is the apple at 2. And
Okay, but
I am revising that. Well, no. Here's the thing. In retrospect, okay, all right, no.
so what's your number 5?
Right.
What's your
Right.
fifth?
So the apple is my lowest ranked, but
Mhm.
I'm going to flip it around, a little switcheroo here. And I'm going to put the apple as my number 5 because, okay, 5 is the immunity syndrome.
Looks like a hole in space.
That
Oh
thing
my God.
sucked.
Why the immunity syndrome? You don't like giant space amoebas?
Really, another giant space amoeba? It's like it had such potential, and it didn't go anywhere. And again, they stopped writing. There was nothing to do. It had such a great concept, and they were just like, oh, okay, and we're not talking about this. Wait a second.
Yep.
Shoot. Okay. No, right. There's that. I hated that episode more. Okay, yeah, no. Immunity syndrome.
You gave it a 3. I gave it a 7. I disagree. I liked it because it was more of an adventure. In fact, some people make note of it in the episode with Nagilum in Next Generation with the hole in space. But I could see it. That's fair. So Mike's 5th worst of the season is Immunity Syndrome. Mine is Metamorphosis.
You won't like it. I already don't like it.
Again, another space cloudy type of thing. That's the one where they find Zephyrin Cochrane on an asteroid and they get stuck there. That's the one where they have, like, we called it the sex cloud, where they got that commissioner with them and a space cloud and Zephyrin Cochrane, so you don't even remember it. And they get stuck on a planet, the inventor of the warp drive, they said. And no, it's not James Cromwell. It's someone else. So to me, I gave that a 4. I just found it boring, trite. And although I did like the special effects of the cloud, the story was kind of lame. They get to this place and they come out. But that's my number 5. So there we are. But now, since you went first, I'm going to tell you my 4th worst.
Go. Thank you, Captain.
Is Bread and Circuses.
Awful.
Bread and Circuses.
Exactly like Earth. Exactly in some ways. Different in others.
The Roman one. I can't stand it. It's got some potential, but there are too many Greco-Roman analogs, and some of them are confused. And it starts the way with like a couple of other episodes this season where they lost a Federation starship. What happened to the crew? A lone survivor. Sounds vaguely familiar as something we saw before it. I didn't like the idea where they're at where Rome never fell at all in this time period with slaves and so forth. Then it ends on a Jesus Christ moment. Not that belief in Jesus is wrong in any point of view, but it was just too on the nose.
Awful. And not only that, the issue too is this is the laziness of the Star Trek writers, where there are it's like a binary, right? It's like there are some episodes where there was a good writer who was taking an edgy sci-fi, high sci-fi concept and inserting the crew into it, like the Doomsday Machine, like interesting places and times, or like it's a more satirical element where they thought up like a nice farcical play like I Mud or Trouble with Tribbles, and they're like, okay, we're going to insert these characters that we love into that. And then there are other ones where they have zero ideas and they're just like throwing it at a dartboard. It's like lone survivor, Romans, and then another one, it's like
Lone Survivors, World War III.
Right. Yes, like World War II. Although, I mean, I liked the World War II episode. I liked Patterns of Force. No. But we'll get into it.
But all right. So now, what's your 4th worst episode of the season?
That would be, Captain. Well, we're syncing up. That's Metamorphosis.
Can't love.
Well, we did Metamorphosis, then we went to Bread. You picked Metamorphosis as well as your 4th worst?
That is my fourth.
Why isn't it? Yeah. So
well,
you found that
I have
more.
3 others that I hate more.
Okay, but you found Metamorphosis more entertaining than the Immunity Syndrome, but just so?
Yes. I mean, Immunity Syndrome, they stopped writing. That's it.
And what's your one saving grace of Metamorphosis? The sex cloud?
I mean, I like to see myself portrayed on screen. So, yes.
You do look pretty as a cloud and as a female cloud at that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought there was some like vibrant acting in Metamorphosis, but yeah, we are syncing up here. May I go on to my 3rd one, which is one that I truly
to number 3.
hate. I
go ahead.
Hate it. The Changeling.
My function is to probe for biological infestations, to destroy that which is not perfect. I am no man.
I hated
the Changeling.
The stupid decisions by the writers and the characters. I hated that. Again, it's like a 5-year-old. It's like the machine killed 1 billion people, and then they just forget that 1 billion people are dead. Like, wait, what? 1 billion? That's like 10,000 Wolf 359s, like at once. Well, are there any reports? Does anyone ever talk about this? What do you mean 1 billion people died? And then at the end, it's like, my son, the doctor. It's like, bad. Get the hell away from my crew.
You saw what he did for Scotty. It's a non sequitur, though. We both gave it a 5. it's not one of my favorite, but it is the first Star Trek VHS tape I bought. So
what would he do?
There's that. Yeah, it's not my favorite either. I wouldn't call it my worst of season 2, but it's up there. It just didn't make my top 5 list. It's valid reasons. The main thing I didn't like about that episode is the way they made Uhura, like, her mind erased, and then the next episode she's totally fine and she has all her memories back. And I'm like, that kind of doesn't make sense. But, you don't know how long it is between each episode, but it's still kind of dumb. And then, it's the robot or the machine, whatever it is saying, like, women are, a ball of conflicting impulses.
Mm-hmm.
Then let me give you my number 3. My number 3 is very similar to Bread and Circus. It's the Omega Glory.
Okay, I'm just going to let out the cat out the bag. That's my number 1. I hated that more than any of them.
Yankees. Communists. Paramount is almost too close, Captain.
Yeah, well, that's fair. The Omega Glory, I think, starts strong with it's kind of like one of the more memorable. We see the abandoned starship with dead crew turned into crystals, which they conveniently forget.
Yeah.
And then, that idea with like a lone survivor, that's a great idea. In fact, there are Star Trek comics that deal with it, with like a crashed shuttle or trying to survive. Even Next Gen does it, well, poorly in Angel 1. But eventually, when we get to Next Gen, everyone can remember that one. But the planet of the where the women are the superior and the men are the weaker.
My kind of place.
This is terrible. It really gets worse as it goes along. You've got the mix of like Asian cultures. You have the basically it's not sure if it wants to be Chinese or Japanese or whatever, but it's a little bit too convenient for the Combs or communists and Yangs as Yankees. But when they pull out the U.S. flag, and there's your Omega, the Glory, as the U.S. flag is called in nomenclature here, it's just terrible, down to citing to the Constitution of the United States. It's ridiculous. It's just the parallels are beyond uncanny, as Spock would say. It's ridiculous. So that's why that gets my number 3 spot.
Right, a half-cooked,
and your number 1.
Yes, a half-cooked, badly acted, stupid concept that ignores the cool premise and is just like it's the Jeff Goldblum from Independence Day syndrome, the worst, where it's like, wait a second, you sneezed, virus, plant a virus in the aliens. This is just like, wait, Russian, America, they developed a parallel society identical to ours and actually went to World War III, and now they're going to be Americans. And the American flag walks out. I'm like, shut up.
Well,
awful.
I mean, two saving Morgan Woodward as Captain Ron Tracy, who's also Dr. Van Gelder, who I like. I thought he did a great job with what he had. Again, the funny thing is the chief medical officer on the Exeter is actually the first patient that we see get mind wiped in that very first season episode. It's ridiculous, but yeah, that's why this for me gets to be my number 3.
You will forget all you have heard, to remember any portion of it, any word will cause you pain.
What is your next one? Your number 2.
My number 2, which will be the last one that I'm talking about here, as obviously Captain and I have sunk up. Number 2 is wait a second, is that correct? Yeah, I got a little because I'm going out of order here. Yeah, my number 2 is the apple.
Are you casting me in the role of Satan?
Wow. You don't like Val and the feeders of Val?
No.
You don't like giant papier-mâché snakehead?
I like that. That was kind of cool. I'm not going to lie. That was basically the only thing going on. Yeah, I don't know. Again, Matt, we've been watching these now for a while. I dig them. The bad ones really run together because not only are they bad, and here's the thing why TNG was different. TNG's really bad episodes were different from each other. The TOS's bad episodes are like the same. It's like, again, that they were like running out of time, just like, oh God, change a couple of details, brainstorm, take 20 minutes to brainstorm, great, cut, print, shoot.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. I'll give you that one.
So it's like
the Apple
bad
you
ones get
gave
really bad.
Yeah, they did. You gave it a 2. I actually gave it a 6. I said to you it was one of my guilty pleasures, but it does have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the thing I always drove me nuts is that they have this one access tube where this computer or whatever machine furnace runs the whole planet, but it only can be fed straw from this one little area. I also didn't like the idea that the children of all were just kind of existing. It just didn't make any sense. It kind of has, to me, in some ways, like a vibe of Logan's Run, where the computer is deciding what's best. And you could even say Return of the Archons, where the computer knows what's best and it's stagnant. And that debate is actually said more here than in Return of the Archons, where McCoy and Spock are debating whether or not to turn off Vol.
Whatever you choose to call it, this system works despite your emotional reaction to it. It might work for you, Mr. Spock, but it doesn't work for me.
You know, but it doesn't execute well. To me, it's just a guilty pleasure because I do like the idea of that big giant indoor jungle. I'm just saying indoor because it's a soundstage. The exploding rocks I liked, although a lot of the actors got tinnitus from that, including Shatner and Leonard Nimoy. Yeah, or you didn't. But
well, that's been great, ladies and gentlemen. This is the end of me and the podcast. Good night. I love you. Matt,
but it's just it was
Rexo.
All right. That's not a problem. Report to the agony booth.
No, I'm leaving this ship. No agony for me.
Oh no, you're not.
Agony booth is the most effective means of discipline.
But anyway, yeah, that's why I agree. The Apple is pretty bad. Well, then I will give you my number 2, absolute worst. I find it's our last episode, Assignment Earth.
You're from the future, Captain.
It's my least favorite from season 2.
Oh,
I know you like the concept is cool, but it's not Star Trek. It's another show interfering with Star Trek.
Color me guilty pleasure. Wait, that's your number 1?
No, that's my number 2.
Oh, sorry.
That's my number 2.
So, okay, I'm just pointing out that you put Omega Glory higher, but Assignment Earth. But okay, but you gave the Omega Glory a 4, and
Assignment Earth,
6.
I gave it a 6, but overall, and I only did that begrudgingly because you whined me into it because I said I was going to go with a 4 and I was going to go to a 5. I guess it's a 6, but for me, it's not one of my favorite episodes. If I had to see, I'm going to go see something from season 2. I ain't turning on Assignment Earth. I'd rather turn on Omega Glory than watch Assignment Earth between the two.
Here's the thing.
And the thing that
keep going.
Go ahead. Well, I was just going to say that the problem I have with it, besides the sound stages, is that it's trying to set something else up. When I first saw it, I had no idea where it was. I remember one time when I was younger, and I saw this on TV, Channel 11 PIX in New York. I thought it wasn't Star Trek because I didn't see Kirk or Spock or the Enterprise or anything else. I'm like, what the heck's going on? Is this a new show? And no, it's that backdoor pilot. And, it's great for a concept. I just don't think it was executed well for a Star Trek episode. It should have just been its own pilot without the Star Trek badge on it. Kind of like the way New Trek has a Star Trek badge on it, but New Trek is worse. This just doesn't do it for me.
And this is where I think Captain and I differ. I think the Captain is more into like high sci-fi Silver Age concepts, and wants his crew to be navigating through those. And I think this will really come out more when we go over our top 5. I put a bit more of a premium on entertainment, and I think that the difference would be like, I love Star Trek First Contact. I understand that Mike Stolkasa and Rich Evans, who are more maybe science fiction nerds and purists, aren't as big a fan of that because it is not as good as sci-fi as a lot of other stuff. But I'm like, I appreciate seeing characters I like doing action-y and entertaining things. I feel like Captain would be more of an insurrection guy than a First Contact guy.
Oh God, no! The Planet of the Blah collection from Sears.
Yes.
No.
So wait,
I actually like First Contact.
Okay. All right. Well, then fair enough.
I just, but you're close. I mean, I grew up more on reading classic sci-fi from the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Yes.
Well, 50s and 60s. This stuff, the idea behind it, I like the idea. It just, for Star Trek, to me, it doesn't fit. It's so ancillary and secondary, more like to the main story, that it just doesn't do it for me.
I dug the style. I dug that there was like that in a big science fiction universe. The Federation would not be the only people who were had their own agenda, that they weren't just enemies. Like, I like the idea of, like, yeah, in a big developed sci-fi universe, there are going to be corners of the universe that are completely unrelated to anything that we've seen. And I like that he had a little cat and that he took care of it. I like that the cat turned into a hot chick, and I really liked his teleportation door. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. Those are all positive things. Again, though, it's a different show. I like Terry Garr in it.
Yeah.
But I think I know why you really like Assignment
Yes,
Earth.
the goth cat, yeah. Of course. I got one of
No,
those.
not the goth cat. No. I think you like it because you like the second police officer as Finnegan.
Oh, God. Don't do it. I can't hear it, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm doing it.
It can't hurt me.
La, la, la. I'm doing it. Yeah, no, that's none of it. But since you already said your number one is the Omega Glory, which I can't deny is a pretty good spot for your worst episode of season 2, I will tell you my worst episode for season 2. To me, the absolute bottom of the barrel is Cat's Paw.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Leave this place, or you will all die.
I can't stand Cat's Paw.
Are you serious?
On Cat's Paw, I actually gave it a 5. You gave it a 7, but I cannot stand it. I like some of the concepts. I just don't like the spooky horror or fake horror in it. I didn't like the beginning with, like, you have the 3 witches kind of from Macbeth start. The only thing I really truly like out of all of it is the little marionette creatures, which they've now edited so you don't see the strings. Those aliens I liked. But the concept itself, I found it boring and slow. I didn't like it. It felt like a little bit more of like the Squire of Gothos when they were trying to bribe the crew with diamonds, and the food again is fake. Everything is fake. I mean, I know you like cats and all, but I did not like that episode. So that to me is the bottom of season 2. But what do you have to say about that, Mike? Because you gave that one a 7.
Okay, Captain. This might be the end of us. I'm going to transition into my top 5. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. I already.
Oh, you're not going to mention why you like it?
Number 5 is Cat's Paw.
All right.
You're discarding everything we live by.
I live by my own decisions.
Oh my God! No.
Yes. I was
Sylvia
shocked.
do it to you?
Wait a second, Captain. Wait. You're putting Cat's Paw below Return to Tomorrow.
Well, that was actually one of my honorable mentions that I just made up. I don't like Return to Tomorrow either. It's a tough call.
You're putting Cat's Paw below Changeling.
Yes, I do put Cat's Paw before Changeling. You know, you're going to tell me that's a non sequitur, but I'm telling you, I can't. Well, I mean, you like the new up-to-date Changeling, don't you? It's called the motion picture. So
yeah, I do actually. That's different.
See, there you go. That's Changeling Plus. I just don't like Cat's Paw. Why do you like it so?
I'm a horror fan. I like scary stuff. There was a specific genre of horror that was going on in the 60s and 70s. That was a lot of like English film influence stuff. There was a
like Day of the Triffids?
No. There was a film production studio called Amicus, and they did a lot of anthology horror films. They cranked them out, and it had like A-list actors, Peter Cushing, oh God, come on, Saruman the White, Christopher Lee,
Christopher
Donald
Lee,
Sutherland, Jack Palance. They had all these people, and they cranked them out, and it hit that style. And it was scary. It was frightening. Like that first scene opening up, I'm just like, shoot,
dead guy.
Damn, I'm hooked. I'm interested. They're doing something visually interesting for the first time. They're putting the characters in a scary situation. I was impressed. I don't know what else to say. I was impressed that they were taking a risk. The story fell apart, and I had a pretty good headcanon that I said on our episode at the time as like, it should have been something where these aliens had gone and sucked up a haunted castle on Earth as part of an abduction, and then based their society around it. And now everything is just like haunted and ghostly, and they kind of retreated into this gothic aesthetic. But okay, they didn't get there with the writing. But I'm just going to tell you, in this season, looking at all these other episodes, I liked it more. And I'm going to say, it just eked out the Game Masters of Triskelion, where I liked the Game Masters of Triskelion a lot, but the misogyny is like very distracting. And I'm not like a woke or bleeding heart or anything, but I'm just like, oh man, they're gently nudging the men and they're slapping the women. I'm like, fuck you. So I'm just like, and then at the end,
that's wrong.
When they have like the fight at the Triskelion, and it's like, okay, don't go outside of the yellow. And the first thing he does is touch put his foot in the green. And it's like, what the hell? Are they going to call him on that? Oh no, they're just ignoring it.
No, it's like civil court. Close enough. It's, That's close enough. Your Honor, it's kind of like, that rule. No, but okay, which was actually said to me once. Yeah. A certain judge said that to me once, and she's retired. Well, okay, that's fair. That's your cat's paw. That's your number 5. Well, I'll tell you what my number 5 is, which you might find surprising because I gave it a 10, is The Ultimate Computer.
This unit must survive.
That's one of my favorite episodes of all Star Trek, but that's my 5th best episode of the season is The Ultimate Computer. I really like that one. And even though you couldn't remember that the M5 and the Beta 6 unit or whatever were the same thing from the assignment Earth, I like the idea that it's man versus machine and Kirk trying to figure out his place. And I like the photography where you see them walking down the hallway. I like Dr. Richard Daystrom, who later becomes Blackula. It's brilliant in the idea of how ahead of its time was of automation run amok. I like that one.
Listen, it's a good episode. Doesn't make my top 5.
Okay, well, yeah, I know. I gave it a 10. You gave it an 8. But that's
I'll tell you why. My problem, if I have any problem with that, it was just that I didn't like, and maybe no, because it wouldn't have been. I didn't like how predictable the episode was. I didn't like that the audience obviously knew what was going on ahead of the characters.
Well, that's true. And you already know, I mean, Kirk has talked a computer to death before. You have Return of the Archons, and here you have it again.
Right.
But I just something about it, it was fun for me. I enjoyed it. I like the idea that we have government trying out new things, basically the Federation trying out new automation.
And I also like demonstrating that the Federation is not just Starfleet, that they have their own R&D side. They probably have all sorts of different things going on in the Federation. They've got creativity. I mean, just like the United States does 1,000 things other than maintain a Navy.
Right, exactly. I mean, you also get to see other Constitution-class ships, which was actually cool. I do find it funny, though, and we both pointed out, like, the guy who invented this machine and invented Duotronics, who went insane to take revenge on everybody by basically egging his computer version of himself to kill other members of Starfleet, they still have a foundation named after him in all of later Star Trek.
We don't know what Daystrom did outside of that one incident. He might have cured
That's quite
cancer.
True. Well, who knows? Well, it's probably cured beforehand. They just can't cure the common cold at this point.
I know, but I mean, listen,
so that's...
the Daystrom probably made huge advancements. Maybe he made the LCARS. Maybe he was responsible for, breaking
Duotronics.
Warp 5.
It's Duotronics. Well, Duotronics. He made Duotronics, which is the ultimate computer system. It's interesting how much computers are actually used, and there is so much automation, but it still relies on human input in Star Trek. In just as a point out, in Star Trek 3, it's the Excelsior that has the most automation that you see to date. Like everything done on the Enterprise is everyone's giving orders to do things. On the Excelsior, it's all automated.
Yeah, well, we see
That's
what
the
happens
first time.
with the Excelsior with a
Yeah.
fucking Scotsman gets in things.
That's true. It's because, that as Scotty has his catchphrase.
The more they overthink the plumbing, the easier it is to stop up the drain.
That's my number 5, but now I'll give you my number 4. Number 4, The Doomsday Machine.
They say there's no devil, Jim. But there is right out of hell. I saw it.
Yeah.
That is my 4th favorite episode. I actually like that one.
I like it a lot too.
You didn't like it as much as I did. I gave it a 9. You gave it a 6. I like the adventure. I like the idea of this machine that's just eating planets and coming on its way. This is where we see one of the first times we actually see a Starfleet commander kind of losing his mind, like the redressed set of the Enterprise for the broken USS Constellation.
Yes.
And in the enhanced version, I like all the special effects of the asteroids hitting the ship, and just the fact that they're trying to destroy this thing. And where it comes from, we never know. There are comics. John Byrne made a comic book where we find out where it's from. Some people have speculated it was out to destroy the Borg with its pure anti-proton beams, which later come back, actually, believe it or not, in the Dominion War. That's what the Dominion use in DS9 is anti-protons, I believe. But this is a weird concept. It looks strange. The traffic cone in space, even though it's a windsock. It's just, I think it's kind of cool.
It is very cool.
That's why it's my
I liked
4.
it a lot. I liked the concept. I thought the execution in the second half got muddy. And I feel like ultimately it would have been served better if the crazy captain was not just coincidentally found on the ship. The writing and the timeline of what happened with the machine was muddy.
Yes.
And it's like, it would be cool if they come to the machine and encountered it and saw that there was a crazy captain in a rogue Federation ship by himself chasing after it. And that's how they got it to, It's like, yeah, just muddy execution. Good. I don't know what to tell you. I didn't like it as much as Cat's Paw.
I love the money pit.
All right, well, I'll give you that. And you know what? Commodore Decker, who's the crazy captain in this one, his son is Will Decker in the motion picture. That was done kind of on purpose. There you go. All right. So what's your number 4
My number
for
4,
season 2?
Oh, can you guess? Okay, it's probably the funniest episode.
Okay, go ahead.
I Mud. I love those guys.
Mud. You should refer to me as Mud the First, ruler of this entire sovereign planet.
That's a really good one. Let's see. On iMud, you gave that an 8, and I gave it an 8. It is enjoyable.
Does it make your top 5?
No, it does not.
I didn't think so. I mean, again, I liked how it was a light episode. I liked how it seemed like a natural extension to what Mud was doing in the first season.
Yes.
And I just, oh God, I loved the little seductions to each of the crew. And I liked that there was no evil scheme. It wasn't like, yes, we'll seduce them and then we'll murder them for their skin. Like, you know what I mean? It was just like, you don't have to make every episode about life and death or the ship about to explode or some evil cabal. You could just have people being a little shitty, not completely shitty. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a fun episode, and Mud getting his comeuppance is great at the end with his wife Stella, and there's like over 200 of them.
Hardcore Benson Mud, what have you been up to? Nothing good, I'm sure.
Hounding him.
Yeah.
That's what marriage is like, maybe?
Oh, get out of town. I mean, maybe for other people. I'm lucky. I'd be like, oh my God, give me 200 my wives. Oof.
We'll see about that. I do also like the idea of this planet of robots, that they were like an advanced force from some unknown alien entity. That was a lot of fun for me too. It was enjoyable, but it's not my top 5. If it's on, I'll watch it. It's not the first one I'm going to run to. Mud actually does technically escape, but when we get to the animated series, you'll see what happens there. It's a little weird, but remember also Roger Carmel, who plays Mud, was also supposed to be in Trouble with the Tribbles, which is not on my top 5 list. No, I'll tell you what my number 3 is.
Please.
Or actually, you go number 3
Okay.
because I went first. What's your number 3?
Number 3, similar to the reasons why I love Catspaw, because it's actually pretty scary and a cool mystery and a nice, interesting concept that you've not seen very much at the time. Wolf in the Fold.
Boradis, Kessler, Rejek, devouring all life, all light, a hunger that will never die.
Oh, excellent episode.
Yep.
Yes.
I dug the mystery. I loved how at no point do like Kirk, Spock, and McCoy think Scotty actually knowingly killed anyone. Like there was never the like, Scotty, is there something you want to tell us? It's like, well, okay, you said you didn't do it. He did not do this. Something else is going on here. Like complete unwavering support of his crew. And Red Jack is scary. The fact that he's also like his cackle, his modulated voice, and then the fact that he's hiding in like the most nebbishy, meek guy is like a creepy touch. And again, the concept of a incorporeal, malevolent intelligence going around the galaxy has already visited Earth and is part of Earth's history, and they don't even realize it. Yeah, I dug it.
I like it. I like it a lot. It's not on my top 5, but it's one of my favorite episodes, mainly for not only the psycho tricorder, but I even sometimes feel like in frustration I sound like Red Jack when I say die, die, everybody die. But
Die, die, everybody die.
it feels like it
That's
sometimes.
what he says every morning when he looks out the window. He gets up, has his coffee.
Yeah,
He's like,
or sometimes when I walk to court.
yes, of course. Man, we're not syncing
I do.
up. I don't think we're gonna. I'm curious if we're gonna sync up on any of them. I think there's one that we're gonna sync up on.
All right. Well, I mean, that's fair. I'll give you that. You gave that a 9, and I gave it an 8 when we saw it originally, but I do enjoy it. So, but my number 3 is Mirror, Mirror.
Oh,
that's one of my. Yes. I really like that one a lot.
Parallel universe, coexisting with ours on another dimensional plane. Everything's duplicated, almost.
That is the original idea of a mirror universe. There have been many pale imitations. Oddly, Next Gen never did it. It is overused in DS9. It's also not in Voyager, believe it or not. It is in Enterprise, and it's done very well in season 4 of Enterprise. But the original is truly the best. I like the idea of there's an evil universe, if you will. It's not necessarily evil per se. It's more of swashbucklery, self-interested.
No, it's
you
evil.
have to.
And
Okay.
I mean, so
Hail the Empire.
TLDR here. Mirror, Mirror is my number 1, so we should get into it.
Oh, excellent. So we sort of do kind of link up. I really like that one a lot. One of my favorite things is the stories by the Arthur Mack, the author, Mr. Mack, David Mack, who wrote the continuation of that story after Kirk tells Spock, be the man to take control of this Enterprise, and what happens. And I still recommend that series where it basically, and if you go take a look at our community page, you can see the references to the books and links to them as well. It basically goes from the original series all the way through to DS9 Voyager. And it tells what happens to the Terran Federation and the Mirror Empires all throughout the system. It's actually really cool. And I think it's well done. And what happens to Marlena Moreau, who is really hot.
I've been a captain's woman and I like it.
In this episode.
A lot of the people in this episode are looking great. I mean, this is the cutest set of horror I've ever looked. But I mean, like, I just thought it was just very impressive. The world building, the concept, that tiny details were reflected in the different reality, but also that you could also see how that they weren't raving lunatics, that there were enough protections in place that they could do their job and accomplish missions without stopping to murder each other. And I loved evil Spock, who was just like a coldly logical sadist. And I loved William Shatner flipping out as they throw him into the brig.
There's a whole galaxy gone crazy. What kind of a uniform is this? Where's your beer? What's going on? Where's my personal guard?
That is
Mirror Kirk being violent and racist towards Vulcans and just frothing at the mouth. I'm like, I've never seen William Shatner come anywhere close to that. Like, even in his more, emotional scenes in the original Crew movies, he's a reserved man, even when he's upset.
You have yet to see season 3, but
boy.
This is it's brilliant, and I like that ending with McCoy wondering if they've been, where Kirk says, "I'm wondering if we're being insulted," when Spock says, "I got to see what your animalistic side is." He goes, "Oh, I'm sure." It's to me one of my favorite lines of all of Star Trek. It's a lot of fun, and I agree with you for your number 1. It's my number 3, but let's come to your number 2. What's your number 2?
What is it?
What is it? Why, lovely lady, it's a tribble. Only the sweetest creature known to man.
Ah, the Tribbles.
I love those.
You have your quadrotriticale. That's a good one.
I don't know. I liked everything about this episode. I liked that, there was a starbase. That was one of the first times, right, that we've gone to a starbase.
Yes.
Yeah.
K7. Mm-hmm.
I like that they were walking around. They were on shore leave. They go get drinks. The bartender is hilarious. The waitresses are funny. The getting into it with the Klingons. Scotty taking this moral high ground of like, don't let them provoke you. That's for people who are not able to control their temper. And then like flipping out and throwing fists when he insults the Enterprise.
Laddie, don't you think you should rephrase that?
You're right. I should. I didn't mean to say that the Enterprise should be hauling garbage. I meant to say that it should be hauled away as garbage.
I like the conspiracy. I like the secret Klingon. There was a little queer coding between the Klingon and his boss, I think. It's like a little boy toy here. He's very, very handsome and sleek. And the Tribbles, man. The Tribbles.
And they stay crunchy in milk.
Shut up.
I like the... That's a new Trek reference, which I also don't like. But I do love that episode a lot. Though, I believe it or not, it's not in my top 5. It's kind of like my backup to the top 5, because mine are more seriously. It's my honorable mention. I really do love that episode, especially that scene with Kirk dressing it down. And it does make a return twice more in Star Trek in an animated episode called More Tribbles, More Troubles, where we again see Cyrano Jones. And in the DS9, Trials and Tribulations.
I love that episode.
It's an awesome, awesome episode, and we'll come to that eventually. In fact, on the discs that I have, where I sometimes may use some sound bites and so forth, they actually had that together. That's a really great episode as well, and it's almost seamless, where they got the same colors and uniforms. It's just very well done, the DS9 version of it. But I agree with you. Trouble with the Tribbles is a very worthy number 2 spot. But my number 2 is Journey to Babel.
Mr. Spark, we'll leave orbit in 2 hours. Would you care to beam down and visit your parents?
Captain, Ambassador Sarek and his wife are my parents.
I actually really like Journey to Babel. That's the one where we are going to talk about the Corridon system, and we meet Spock's parents.
Yeah.
And I actually like that a lot. For some reason, it just makes me very happy. We got a whole bunch of things. We got drama. We got adventure. We have an unknown assailant attacking the Enterprise. And the ship, at least in the remastered version, the redone Orion ship is awesome. I like the fact that we also have humor in it. And we have McCoy finally getting the last word, as he says. I liked that one a lot. And the conspiracy to just try and stop a peace treaty so a third party, basically the pirates, can make money selling weapons and stealing dilithium, which is the gasoline of the time.
Yeah,
so
of course,
that's why that's my number 2.
Little nod there to or inspiration to the Kittimer conspiracy in my favorite
Yes.
Undiscovered Country. I liked the alien design. I liked the again. Wait, hold on. This was on a planet.
The one with the
right?
Tellarites. No, this was with the Tellarites.
No,
and,
I know. But where was the conference happening again?
that was happening on Babel, as Kirk says.
Right. Okay. So
That's
it was on a planet. It was
right.
not on the space station.
Right. We're not really sure, but it's probably on a planet that codenamed Babel. So wherever the heck that
is.
is.
This the first time that we saw an Andorian on film?
Yes, it's the first time we see an Andorian and a Tellarite. And just to remind everyone, the founding members of the Federation are humans, Vulcans, Andorians, and Tellarites. So yeah, that's who they are. Although the makeup on the Tellarites is a little bit,
Well, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
As a person who loves, the
minutia.
I like the lore of Star
Right.
Trek, right? So Tellarites were a founding race. At some point, do they have some sort of isolationist bend where they're just like, you know what, we're not going to be, we're going to stick to our home planet. We're part of the Federation, but like, are they maybe a species that doesn't actually put value on exploration, and that's why we don't see them very much?
No, it's because the costuming costs a lot of money. You actually see them a little bit more in Enterprise, but in Star Trek lore, they're actually traders and negotiators. But considering they like to argue with everyone, I wonder how successful they are on negotiations and trades. But they were pretty much picked fights with everyone just because they're obnoxious or pugnacious. There's your word of the day. Their pugnacious style for dealing with people.
What do you think got them into the Federation?
I think they just had their fingers in everything with trade and so forth. If you watch the 4th season of Enterprise, and this is jumping several series ahead, basically the glue that binds all the other major factions is humanity. Vulcans are standoffish and at odds with the Andorians. The Andorians are at odds with the Vulcans, who are also at odds with the Tellarites, and they're all arguing and fighting with each other. And the humans come along like, hey, man, can't we all just get along? We just kicked our own butts several times, and, why don't we all just get along together and work together or something? And believe it or not, there's an episode about that in the 4th season where that kind of sets that up for the beginning of the Federation. So that's how they all get together. But essentially, beforehand, they're all at each other's throats, fighting over space, resources, and exploration, and diplomacy, and trade, and dealing with other races that happen to be there. In fact, in Journey to Babel, you see other races that are there, like the little gold guys and our famous food cubes, and you learn about a Salot, which is Spock's pet, teddy bear with 6-inch razor fangs. But anyway, that's my number 2. So your number 1 is, we already know.
Wait, I can guess
yours.
Mirror.
Mirror. What is it?
Is it Game Masters?
No,
What?
It's not Game Masters. My number 1 episode. But tell me again, why do you like Mirror Mirror for number 1, though? Your number 1.
I like the creativity. I like the execution. I thought that it was visually fascinating. I thought it was a great idea. And it's not even something that is necessarily common in fiction before or after. Of an evil version, but a whole parallel universe where everything is kind of flipped upside down. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is before Rick and Morty. This is before Miles Morales, Into the Spider-Verse. All this stuff. This was a new concept. And it's a little bit, if anything, the slightest little parallel could be kind of Jekyll and Hyde, that there's an evil version and a good version. But that's kind of
all of us. Yeah, and also you like Spock's goatee.
I like
that's
his
also
goatee.
new
I like
too.
The agonizer chambers, and I like that. I like world building, right? So I dug that there was normalcy and normal routine of, if you are a officer, you always have a personal guard around you, because if you don't, you're gonna get stabbed. So it's like when Kirk's like, come with me to, Kirk and Sulu, and he doesn't take his personal guard, they're like, okay, he's offering himself up on a platter here. Is this a trick? I thought that it was just aces.
Regrettable, but it will leave me in command.
So, with that being said, Captain, what do you put higher than that, if not Game Masters?
Well, wait. One thing that I just want to point out to you, what I always find funny, every time there's a mirror universe or an opposite, almost consistently they have the same goatee that Leonard Nimoy sports in any genre. I always find that funny and also telling as to how influential Star Trek is to people. But my number one is Amok Time.
She's lovely, Mr. Spock. Who is she?
She is T'Pring, my wife.
I really like that one. That's actually my favorite of season 2 overall. That's the one where Spock gets married. Yeah, Ponfar. We learn more about Spock. There's some great memes of Spock busting a computer. We see kind of like the sneaky nature of McCoy. We see Vulcan for the first time and how hot it is. Even in the non-remastered version, the original series, you get this dry, arid look of that, even that set. And I liked all the people in there, and Dame Judith Anderson as T'Pau. You get the idea that Vulcan's part of the Federation, but only just so, because like Kirk was even saying, like, how can I turn down anything on this? And we find out more about Spock's kind of personal life with his wife T'Pring, or his wife to be, Stan, his her lover, and what could happen in that. It was a really interesting dynamic, and also his parents weren't created yet, so they weren't invited to the wedding, which is actually kind of funny to me, but they were stuck in Journey to Babel, which was yet to come. I just enjoy it. I like the whole bit, and then Spock's surprise at the end and emotionality to see that his best friend, Captain Kirk, James Kirk, is alive.
Yes.
Even screams at the end, Jim,
Captain. Jim!
That's why that's my number one for the season. It's enjoyable. I will tell you that if you see Strange New Worlds, they ruin this dynamic between Spock and T'Pring. So I don't recommend watching it.
I watched. My brother showed me an episode of the new season the other day, ladies and gentlemen, with Trelane Q, and it sucked. And it was just like bad writing. Someone gets knocked out of a complete fantasy state by punching someone, and they don't try that again. And the entire ship of genius Starfleet officers. Do you know what that means? That means that these people have an IQ over 200, and they have the discipline and the lack of fear, like astronauts in the 1960s, to go through space and probably be willing to die, right? Like, that's why I think so many people on Star Trek are single in TNG and TOS, where they're just like, marriage, kids, go be taken away tomorrow. I mean, we'll have sex with people when we hang out with them. We're not prudes, but at the same time, it's better to stay unattached. The fact that Strange New Worlds, everyone is so worried about who they're dating and their feelings, and are they going to hook up with this person or hook up with that person? They care more about relationships than your average high schooler does. The average high schooler is thinking more about their SATs, I think, than the dynamics of who they're going to smooch. Maybe not the same, but maybe it's equivalent to like Degrassi. So anyway,
so obviously you could tell our opinions of Strange New Worlds, but
let's not let this muddy our love of TOS.
Let's right.
Do overall takes on season 2, Capt.
Well, before we do that, I want to just mention my honorable mention. Like I said, I have several. I've got Wolf in the Fold, and I like Trouble with the Tribbles. Those are my two kind of honorable mentions. They're both fun for reasons we've already mentioned. And oddly, one other one I like, which is more Cold War-y, although it's not wonderfully a great episode, is Friday's Child. That's the one where they're being chased through the hills.
Uh-huh.
We Klingons believe as you do. The sick should die. Only the strong should live.
I actually like that. The Cold War feel, dealing with a primitive society to try and outdo the Russians, a.k.a. the Klingons, to try and get resources.
Sure.
That it was. I just found it as a good adventure. It's a little bit silly in it's a lot of bit silly in many parts, but it does have Catwoman in it. So
I've got a couple of honorable mentions as well.
Go ahead, tell me your honorable mentions.
Game Masters of Triskelion. I did like
That's a
that
good
they
one.
were gambling addicted brains in jars.
I wager 15 quadloos that he is untrainable.
That was hilarious. And I liked. This is a weird one, but I mean, at the same time, it kind of just shows that it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Subject of an episode does not matter nearly as much as its execution. So,
right.
Patterns of Force, the Nazi,
right,
is a very well executed episode.
It is,
even though it is doing the same crap of taking our characters and slapping them into a different genre, like a piece of the action. But
right.
They take the fact that they're dressed as Nazis seriously. I mean, that was very modern history. That happened 20 years ago at that point. And that was like, that's like someone, that it happened sooner in time to the airing of that episode than 9/11 happened to us today. So
that's true.
The point being that, they treated it with a certain amount of reverence, and they had a high sci-fi concept as to why this guy did it. And it kind of, I mean, it wasn't a smart idea, but you could understand how someone kind of going insane and worried about a society would make such a bad decision.
The non-interference directive is the only way.
As opposed to just, here's what the writers of the Omega Glory would be. Can you believe they turned into Nazis too? I guess it just happens. Right?
That's a good point. That's a really good point. Although, high price to pay for keeping the trains running on time, a genocide of a neighboring planet. I do enjoy that. That's a good one. But any other honorable mentions or any honorable bad mentions, would you say?
No? I'm going to say honorable mention. I mean, I really like the Cyberturk.
Okay, that's fair.
And honorable mention, quickly, Who Mourns for Adonias. It had some fun moments.
Oh, yes.
I like
I'll
the
agree
giant
with you
hand
on
in
that.
space.
The giant hand in space is classic. I like that a lot too. And yeah. So overall, see, we met a couple of things. We reached, as you'll find out what that means, on like the mirror sort of. We both hated Omega Glory. I can't say that the Changeling is my least favorite or anything in that regards, but we both hate Metamorphosis in a sense.
Please.
So, but I think we've met overall, met pretty evenly on this. Interestingly, and I always do a mathematical formula on this. Taking our overalls, I gave this season a 7, and you gave it almost a 7. You gave it a 6.7. That's factoring in last season as well.
I mean, they're
so
basically identical, rounding up and rounding down.
Yes, it's essentially correct. We're pretty on par, which either means that we like the same things, or
but here's the crazy
but
thing.
not really.
I would not give this season a 7 out of 10.
No,
I would give it a 5.
What would you give it? Really?
Yeah, because while it had great episodes, it had also some of the worst goddamn episodes.
You want to know something? I give it a 6.
Okay.
So if you take all the bad episodes out and you leave the ones that we pretty much think are pretty good, then you'd have something there. It'd be a shorter season, I'll tell you that much. It'd be essentially 10 episodes, which is what modern TV is all about. But you'd miss some of the cheese factor, I guess. And you also miss some of the mediocre ones. You add in Trouble with the Tribbles, you added iMud, you add Game Masters, you add in things like Friday's Child or...
no joke, Captain. We could call this season to 10 amazing episodes easily.
Yes,
and
easily
it would be considered like one of the best sci-fi shows ever made. I mean, I guess it is, but
it is actually.
But like for instance, you go back and you watch, gold standard for quality versus quantity, like it would probably be Firefly, right? Like per minute.
Yes,
that show is better than probably anything that's ever been made per minute.
Well, I would argue BSG, the new Battlestar Galactica, is probably very good as well.
But it has shaky later seasons.
It sure the hell does. But Firefly, minute by minute, is probably
That's what I'm
superior
saying.
to
Like, it had
many
10
things.
episodes.
Yeah.
There were 10 excellent episodes, and it had a movie, and the movie was excellent. Like,
Yes.
it didn't really stumble in any place, which is crazy.
Yeah, and the movie tied it up rather nicely and in a sad way, but it's a good one. But there we go. That's our top 5 and bottom 5, or bottom 5 and top 5 episodes of the second season of Star Trek. It's been a wild ride as we approach season 3, Mike. You excited for season 3?
I'm excited to get to see what the highlights and the lowlights are. And I'm going to be honest with you, Captain. I'm going to be excited to get into away from TOS. So let's hopefully we do it quicker than a year. Because listen, I had a little baby in the last year. We had lots of professional development. Point being that we have not even come close to keeping up with our weekly schedule. But Captain, I decree that shall change.
Okay. Well, I will look forward to that. You said you want to do gaming. We still have tricorders. I got a whole bunch of them I wanted to show everyone. It was a lot of fun to go through this, and let's get ready for season 3. And speaking of season 3, our first episode up for bids of season 3 is Spock's Brain, the infamous episode, the premiere. Yeah, I don't know about that, but anyway, that's on our next episode of Yelling at Gaseous Anomalies. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell notification. Also, don't forget to stop by our TeePublic t-shirt store and buy some merch. As always, Mike, it's always been a pleasure trekking through the stars with you on this. All right. And everyone, again, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to contact us, you can contact us by writing to yellingatgas@gmail.com. And as always, live long and prosper, and see you out there.